Welcome to Hair Hero, the podcast where we dive deep into the minds of the best in the business to uncover what makes them tick and sometimes what makes them twitch. I'm your host, Ryan Whedon, founder of Masters of Balayage and creator of Masters Academy. Join me each week for impactful conversations with industry leaders, icons, influencers, and trendsetters. Get ready to be inspired, learn from the pros, and maybe even have a laugh or two. Because let's face it, if we can't have fun talking about hair, we're doing it wrong. Let's get started. Hey friends, let me jump in here real quick. Have you heard about our 3 world-famous certification courses? If balayage is your thing, we've got the Balayage Masters Program, or BMAP as our students like to call it. If blonding is your thing, we've got the Blonde Masters Certification course. And if extensions are your thing, we've got the Extension Masters Certification. We call these the trifecta of the world's highest earning specialties. That's because if you master just one of them, you'll be madly successful. But if you master all 3, you'll absolutely dominate the game. Charge what you want, work where you want, work when you want. All of these comprehensive programs fast-track your experience and make you an expert faster. From modern fundamentals all the way to advanced mastery with topics like full bleach-outs, zigzag foliage, and hybrid blonding, and with extension masters things like hidden placement, modern beadwork, and stitching, you'll gain years of education in just days. With hours of immersive video training, color theory, skill strategy, accountability, live training, not only will you feel completely transformed by the end of the program, as if you've accelerated through years of hard work, you'll also gain an unstoppable confidence to not just raise your prices in value, but to create the life you want as a certified specialist. You know that feeling you get when you return home after a hair show and for a few days you feel like you can do anything? Well, imagine feeling like that every single day without the feeling fading. Now that's what our programs give you. Try one, try both, or go all in and try all 3. Some of our best students have already taken the course multiple times. That's how good they are. Register now and see for yourself at www.mobnext.com. That's MOBNEXT.com. Mobnext.com, where hairstylists get ahead and stay ahead. Who in your life calls bullshit on you? Who's that person that can look through everything that is going on with you, the way you're acting, the way your emotional state is, the decisions you're making, and say, hey, Ryan, so what's going on? What's wrong? And even though you might not even feel like there's something wrong with you, this person can see right through you, connect with your soul on such a deep level that they know in some way you're not being true to yourself. You're not being the person that you want to be, the person that you put out to the world, the person that you look 10 years into the future and say, that is the perfect version of myself. Well, that person for me is my wife, Jenny. The other day, I was in this, I guess, a weird kind of mood. I didn't feel like anything was off. There's been a lot of stress in my life recently, and not to put myself on a different level than anybody else, we all, over the last several years, have faced all kinds of traumas in our life. Some of us have lost people. Some of us have made big moves and changes and financial decisions. And then we have this, gas prices are insane right now. Food costs more than it's ever cost. And it's hard to sometimes pay our bills. We look toward how we're going to build wealth in our life. And people talk about all over Instagram, gurus everywhere. It's time to start building wealth. This is the time to start building your wealth when the market is shifting and people are pulling back. This is the time to push forward. But at the same time, if you don't have the resources and if you don't have the knowledge to do that, if you don't have the money to put to work for you and don't know where to put that money, then it's like, it doesn't make any sense. You're like, well, this doesn't apply to me. This hasn't applied to me. And how am I going to make this happen? And throughout these last several weeks, there's been a lot going on in my life emotionally and personally with my family. And with business and everything, and a lot of it is very positive, but there are some negative things happening that have, I guess, caught up to me. And the other day, Jenny looked at me, and I came home from work, and I don't know what was going on with my face, but she looked over and said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah, I'm fine. Why?" And she's like, "Because you just reacted like that. I think something's going on with you." And I took offense to that. I hate when somebody says something like, "Oh, are you okay? Are you feeling okay? You look kind of sick." Because suddenly you're like, well, what did I do with my face? Why do you think I'm sick? Especially if I'm not sick, especially if I'm feeling good, then suddenly I'm in a bad mood. So this comment that she made, "Hey, Ryan, are you okay?" And she was sincerely asking me, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yes, I'm fine." "Why? Gosh, why would you ask me that? Did you have a rough day?" Today was fine. Today was fine." And then she said, "Well, something's going on with you." And I said, "There's nothing going on with me." And you can tell this is how I was reacting. I was aggravated. I was bothered. And then I took a moment and I thought about it. And although nothing had happened on this particular day, I was at a very high emotional level. I remember I was sitting in my office. We have a new office here at Masters of Balayage, and it's very cool, but it's still very unfinished. I'm in my office in one of the clean areas where my desk is pretty much organized, and I'm just plugging away, getting work done, and I put on my Spotify, and I'm listening to, it just popped up on my recommended list, it's Cat Stevens. And if you've heard Cat Stevens, he's got some incredible music. It's very heartfelt. It's very touching. The words and the lyrics really resonate with me on such a deep level. And there was this one song that I was playing. The song was like Wild World and so many good hits that I was going through. And then this one song, I remembered it from a long time ago, and it necessarily didn't necessarily mean a lot to me back then. Of course, I loved it, but then I just started hearing the lyrics while I was working. And you know, when you're unconsciously listening to something, then you're like, okay, wait, what was that? It's almost like your name being called in a shopping mall or a grocery store, and you just turn around because, hey, Ryan, even though it's not for you, it's for a kid or for somebody else, and you turn around because you hear your name. Well, this particular song spoke to me, and I'm like, wait, what is a song? And I went and looked at the title, and it said Father and Son. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay. I think the last time I probably heard this song was before I had my son, before I had kids, even. And if you're a parent, I bet you're a lot different than you were before you had kids. Right now, you're a completely different person. You have different responsibilities. You have different emotions. You have different decisions you have to make. You have responsibilities that you never thought you'd ever have to have now. So your focus is different. And I listened to the song, and then I started listening to the lyrics, and the lyrics were so touching. They started to almost create this emotional response automatically. It was about letting go. It was about this relationship between a father and a son. And then whenever a song really touches me, the first thing I do is I really want to get to know that song a little bit better. So I'll go on Google and I'll type in, what is the meaning of this song? Hoping that it's going to give me even more insight into where that person was in their life when they were writing a particular song. And this particular song, Cat Stevens, is a very famous song. It's called Father and Son. It was about how he had this son, and his son was getting older, and he realized he was maybe too controlling, because that's the way he was brought up. He was trying to control everything because he was controlled as a child. And then he realized this wasn't the way he wanted to continue to parent. He wanted his son to have his own identity. He wanted to let his son go. And I don't mean like, see you later, have a great life. I mean, let him make his own decisions. Let him figure out life on his own. Let him go through challenges so he can grow on his own. Not always being there to try to help him avoid every challenge in life, because what makes us stronger in life? It's the challenges that we face. It's the challenges that we go through. It's the hardship and the traumas that we come out successfully on the other side with. So he was giving himself permission to let go, and he was older, and he's like, I got to live my life too. He's like, I am old, but I'm happy. And then I put the song back on, I replayed it, and I started crying almost instantly just because it touched me. And I know I'm not at that point right now with my son. Right now I'm in father protection mode because he's just turned 3. But I know at some point that's going to happen. I'm going to have to say, you have to make your own decisions now. You're growing into becoming a man, an adult. You're going through teenage years. You're going to have all these tough decisions to make, and I'll always be there to support you. I'll always be there to love you. But you need to start living your own life at some point. And it just looking ahead in the future. And if you are what I like to call and refer to as an active parent, somebody that wants to be present in your kid's life. And there's a lot of parents out there that don't want to be in their kid's life. And it's just a sad, sad thing. If you're a parent, spend time with your kids. Get to know your kids, because they'll help to get to know, they'll teach you about yourself, things that you didn't even know existed. And they'll bring up things from your past that you didn't know were there. And then I realized, after listening to the song and thinking about my relationship with my kids, how I need to let certain things go in my life to move on. Things that I've felt regret about, things that I felt guilty about, things that maybe have been left unsaid that need to be said. And unfortunately, sometimes things that need to be said or needed to be said, that time has passed, that person is gone. And it's a hard emotion to face, that regret. And forgiving yourself for not always making the right decisions, for not always having the courage to stand up for what you believe in, to stand up for what is right. It's hard to give yourself that permission to forgive others, to forgive yourself. We are always very hard on ourselves. And if you're an achiever, if you're somebody that's always striving to become the best version of yourself, you know what I'm talking about. You're always putting yourself into uncomfortable situations. You're always trying to find new ways to say something better, new ways to do something better, new ways to have more of an impact in other people's lives and in turn your life. New ways to show up as a strong family member, to break generational curses, so that way you don't have the same, your kids don't have the same traumas maybe that you had growing up. And if you're the one in your family to break that chain, it's hard, but it's necessary. And it takes courage, it takes bravery, it takes boldness. And I want you to know, if you're listening to this today, I see you. I see everything that you're carrying on your shoulders. I see all the struggles that you're facing. I see that you want to have a better life for you, for your family, for the people that you care about. I see you. And I want you to take a moment today, maybe journal, maybe write it in your notes. What are you thinking about right now? What's on your mind right now? What is weighing you down that you cannot control, that you need to start letting go of, because it's not serving you in the next chapter of your life? I believe in you, and I want you to know that this is your opportunity to strive for greatness, to be bold, to be daring, to be your authentic self. And if you don't have somebody that can call your own bullshit and say, Ryan, you're not being who you say you are, it is time to find that person, hold out of them tight, and go give the world the passion that you have inside of you. Thanks for tuning in today. Thanks for tuning in to Hair Hero. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a 5-star review. It helps us reach more listeners just like you. And don't forget to screenshot this episode and share it on Instagram, tagging us at Masters of Balayage. We'd love to see your posts and share them. Until next time, remember, be bold, be brave, be you. See you in the next episode.